Are you looking for the best early wipe builds for patch 12.12? Well, friends, my name is Rengawr. I've got you covered. Let's jump right in. Now, early wipe is tough for a lot of players. The recoil on all of your guns is just so high. You have so many stock guns to use. I want to give you some of the best advice you could ever get in this game if you were a new player on a fresh wipe. I want to show you how to lower the recoil on every single gun you will ever use in this game. Now, in this example, I have an AK-74N, which is as stock as it comes. If I aim at the bottom part of this door and I just stand up, watch how much my gun kicks to the ceiling. Watch it. You see my bullets go all the way up here while my gun has absolutely no mods on it. Now watch what happens if I do the exact same thing, the exact same gun without moving, but all I do is I crouch and I aim on the left side of a door instead. Ready? Watch this. Do you see how my bullets are significantly lower than they are over here and they're more grouped together? Whenever you crouch while using any gun in this game, your recoil is lowered. Now you can do the exact same thing, believe it or not, if you prone. Now watch me aim at this door while proning. Look at the recoil on my gun if I prone. Look at that. Look at the difference between standing, crouching, and proning. This is some of the best advice you could ever have using stock weapons right away. Is just crouch or prone before you shoot somebody, and your gun will be so much more of a laser beam. Let's hop into early wipe builds, and hopefully you guys can make the best of this wipe. So when starting off any fresh wipe, you're given the choice of one of two PMC factions. The first one being Bear, and the second one being Usec. Now, depending on which faction you pick, you will actually have different starting weapons, so it'll kind of impact your early game. All of the traders are exactly the same, so it only impacts the first items that you see in your stash. If you pick Usec, you get access to the 5.56 MDR and the M4A1. These both come stock like this, and they'll be in your stash if you pick Usec. If you pick Bear, you will have access to the AK-74M, and you will have access to the RPK-16, and they will appear in your stash like this. Now, the Bear actually has better weapons, and they have cooler clothing. Personally, for me, I always pick Usec because they have the voice lines, and I just like the Usec clothing. I'm weird, I know. You can pick whatever you want. I'm going to show you guys how to mod all four of these starting weapons so you can have the most effective early raids using these. And then we'll hop into low-level trader builds, so when you level up, you can use even better guns. So we'll start off with Usec, and we'll start with the easier weapon first, the MDR. All you have to do to make this thing usable is actually buy a sight for it. And if you go to Peacekeeper at level 1, all you have to do is buy either the Burris Fastfire 3 with the Fastfire Weaver mount, or buy the Delta Point Reflex sight with the Delta Point Cross Micro mount. I'll buy the Delta Point and the mount right now, and all you do is put those two pieces together and then drag them over the gun like this, and your gun will have a sight and it'll be totally usable. Now, the M4 is also extremely simple, but the iron sights are terrible, and if you were to just take off this sight, this charging handle and put a sight on here, the front sight actually blocks it, and the front sight is a gas block. So to make the M4 usable with a regular sight, all you have to do is go to Mechanic at level 1, and you're going to buy the MK12 low profile gas block, and then same thing, go to Peacekeeper, and you could buy any sight you want from level 1. I'm going to use the Delta Point with the mounts yet again. All you do is you drag the gas block over the M4, and you drag the Delta Point over the M4 as well, and that'll make this gun usable right off the start, so you have a clear sight picture. It is high recoil, so I tap with it if it were me using it, but that lets you use both of these guns. Put sights on the Bear starting weapons is actually quite simple. So the AK-74M only requires you to get the EKP-8-02, which is purchasable from level 1 Prapor. It's located right here. Just drag that right over the 74M, and you will instantly have a sight on your gun ready to go. Now for the RPK, all you have to do is go ahead and remove the rear sight like this because it blocks the sight picture, and then put on one of three sights. There is the Pix 42 and the MRS, which are both bought from level 1 Skier. You can see the Pix here, and the MRS is located here. Now, the FFW3 is another option as well, which is from level 1 Peacekeeper right here, with the mount or with Delta Point. The problem with the FFW3 is the fact that the sight is kind of short, and the front sight will actually block the picture. So you're kind of forced to use either the Pix or the MRS. I'm not a big fan of either, but the Pix, in my opinion, is better than the MRS. and that means that the sight will actually end up clearing the front sight, so you don't have anything blocking you. And this will make all 4 guns usable right off the start of your raids. Now, there are 2 more guns that either faction can use that are worth mentioning before you even hit level 2 traders. Now, these are the Mosin, which will run you about 35k from level 1 Prapor, and the SKS, which will run you about 22k from level 1 Prapor. Now, this has a 10-round internal mag. This is a 5-round internal mag. You don't need any magazines to run this gun. And the Mosin ammo is the 7.62 PS, which is bought from level 1 Prapor, as well as the LPS GZH, which is bought from Prapor level 1 as well. So, the SKS is a gun a lot of people like using. I prefer the Mosin personally. For me, it helps me get kappa faster. If you want to know why, watch this video up here. But the SKS gets a lot of hate because of its iron sights. It's very hard to see and aim with the SKS because of the iron sights. There is a trick, however, where instead of having to use this sight picture, you can actually go ahead to your SKS, remove the SKS rear sight. Just take it off your gun. And if you aim down sights and you shoot, you'll see how you have a way better sight picture, and it's still extremely accurate. Watch this. Look at my shots. Look where they're all landing. I'll do it over here. It's still extremely accurate. It's not entirely 100% accurate, but if I'm aiming at a guy from back here, look at this. Those shots are all connecting. Those are all connecting. I think it makes it much easier to use. Of course, use whatever you like. If you want to use the rear sight, you're more than entitled to do so, but this is at least helpful knowledge to have in the back of your head. So assuming you have level 2 Prapor, you leveled up a little bit, so now you have options of more guns and more mods. Level 2 Prapor requires level 15 in-game, as well as buying and selling 750,000 rubles worth of merchandise. Now, to actually go ahead and level up Prapor, the best way to do it, in my opinion, is to buy and sell back the AK-74 used to Prapor. Now, the reason why this is so good, and a lot of people don't know about this, is the mags inside of the 74Us are actually full. And they're full of 545 BP, which is actually a pretty decent ammo. And you need level 3 Prapor to go ahead and buy this. So we don't have access to this, so what we can do is buy and sell back all of the 74Us. Before we sell them back, take the mag out and unload the ammo, or just keep the mag and the ammo in your stash. You can do whatever you want. The mags you can buy back anyway later on. But this allows you to level up Prapor while also getting access to really good ammo that we can use. Now, something that you can do as well is buy the AK-74N. This is one of my go-to budget builds personally, is you buy the 74N from Prapor for 40,000 rubles. Now, what you go ahead and do is you have 2 options for sights. I'll show you the easy way and the weird way of doing it. But you're going to go ahead and buy the GP20 recoil pads. You need 1 for every gun you build. That can go on any AK you're building pretty much with a regular stock. And it reduces your recoil as much as an RK2 grip. It gives you 5% recoil reduction, and it only costs 3k. So buy a couple of these for your guns. And then if you want to put a sight in your gun, there's 2 ways. One is using the Tactula rear sight mount, and the other way is by going to level 1 skier and buying the Bastion mount. Now, the Bastion is better because it reduces recoil by 1%. So to mod my 74N, all I would do is remove the rear sight, and I would go ahead and take the dust cover off to put my Bastion on, and then I can go ahead and put this on my gun, and then I would have a 71 recoil gun instead of an 80 recoil gun. Now I can go ahead and put any sight I want on my gun as well, and that would be my build down 9 recoil from what it was with just a little bit of modding. You can do the exact same thing to a 74 or an AKM, which is 7.62 instead of 5.45. And what you would do is, let's say you didn't want to buy the Bastion, it's a little bit too expensive, you want to keep your price down as low as possible. So what you would do here instead is take off the rear sight, and you would buy a Tactula mount and put that on where the rear sight was, and then put any sight you want on the Tactula mount, which is a rear sight mount for any optic that is like a red dot or a hollow. Now, the Fastfire 3 won't see above the iron sight, so I'd use either a Pix, an MRS, or a holographic sight here if you have level 2 Peacekeeper. And then same thing, the recoil pad will reduce recoil by 5%, but this is really easy ways to get sights on your guns, as well as the recoil pads reduce your recoil by 5%. It's insane. So now you have access to good ammo while also leveling up a trader, you have access to the low recoil weapons, and you can put sights on your AKs really easily. Now, the next trader that we're going to talk about is Peacekeeper. Now, Peacekeeper level 2 is available at level 14, and it requires you to buy and sell 11,000 USD worth of merchandise. Now, this trader requires absolutely no rep to level him up at all, so he's a good one to get early, especially because at level 2 you have the option to buy Untar armor, which is class 3 body armor, which late wipe, it's not so good. Early wipe, really, really good. Now, to level him up, I do it by buying and selling M9 pistols, just back and forth to him. You can do it however you want. There's no like secret special way. It's just only a limited item that you can really sell to him. That's what I do. Once you get level 2, you have options of quite a few guns. I'm going to buy a little bit of USD here, and you can buy... Honestly, the guns that I think are worth using are definitely the RFB is not a bad one. You could use the MPX as well as the HK MP5, which is kind of called the Space Blaster. Now, you could use the AMP or the MP9. I don't like using these, but these are what I'd stick to, more likely the RFB. Now, I like the RFB because it shoots M80 ammo, which you can also buy from level 2 Peacekeeping. You can buy 200 per reset. It is really strong ammo because it goes through class 4 early wipe, so you can really just shred through anyone wearing like kind of low tier armor really easily. All you have to do to this thing is go to anyone, Peacekeeper for example, and I'm going to buy a holographic sight now that I can use these. Buy 2 of those, and I can just slam one right on my gun, and I can just put M80 in this thing, and it's good to go. It has kind of high recoil, but it is a semi-auto gun, so you don't have to worry about it kicking a lot because, you know what I mean, semi-auto guns don't really have that much recoil, even though it might say they have a lot. So the MPX is also very easy. All you'd have to do is remove both of the iron sights and put a XPS 3-0 on this. So you have any sight that you want. You can also put a blue laser on here as well, which again is available from level 1 skier. And then if you really wanted to, you could buy a grip as well. I don't think the gun needs it personally. It's not worth it to me. The gun is such low recoil. The 9mm guns don't really kick at all. So you can put that on here, and then you are good to go. All you got to do is buy ammo, and you're pretty much your only option at level 2 is either Quake Maker to leg people, or you could use the PST ammo, which is what you normally use. Now, I don't like using 9mm guns personally because it kind of, they kind of suck, honestly. They're good for headshots, but if you're going through body armor, it's really bad. So for me, I don't do it. And this Space Blaster actually comes literally out of the trader ready to go. It's kind of expensive for what it is, in my opinion, but the iron sights are really clean, and this is also good to go. All you have to do is buy the mags for your gun, and you are good to go. The last trader worth mentioning is going to be Skier level 2. Now, Skier level 2 requires you to be PMC level 15, requires 0.20 trader rep through questing, and it also requires you to buy and sell 800,000 rubles worth of merchandise. Now, to level up Skier to level 2, all I do is I buy the Saiga 9s and I sell them back to him. He's not going to buy back a lot of the other weapons. He'll buy back M32s as well, but I prefer to do the Saigas because you kind of save more money that way. You can also do Taj shotguns as well, but I prefer to do Saigas because it is faster. Once you get level 2 Skier, you get access to the RK-2, which gives you 2% recoil reduction. This will go straight on the RFB or the MPX if you want to put a grip on those, as well as you get access to the AK Zenit DTK compensator for both 7.62 and 5.45 AKs. Now, this is a 13% recoil reduction, and it only actually runs you 5,000 rubles. Now, to put this on a 7.62 AK, you have to go ahead to level 1 Skier and buy the Tactula adapter. Now, if we go ahead and we put this on our AK-74N from earlier, which has 71 recoil, you'll see the recoil actually goes down to 67, and same thing with the AKM. We see we have 107 recoil, all we have to do is put this compensator on our mount for the AK, take off the compensator, and it'll go from 107 all the way down to 95 recoil. This makes our builds that much better, and this is all around the same level, level 15. So this is kind of where we hit our first like spike for seeing the gear kind of, or I guess not the gear, but the weapons do a lot better. So hopefully this was helpful so you have some idea of early trader builds. Now, if you guys want to breeze through progression and max traders in 4 days, make sure to check out my early wipe guide. I'm going to leave that at the end of the video, as well as linked in the description down below. Check it out. It has some really good advice on there. If you enjoyed this video, comment down below what build you think you're going to be using. Hit the sub button, hit the bell. We're going to be doing more guides on top of this. I want to talk about level 3 and level 4 builds, as well as the meta for builds might change. There's going to be new guns. I want to cover those as well, but I can't do that until the patch comes out. So that video will be coming. Stay tuned for that. But for now, this is what we have. I really hope the wipe goes great for you guys. If you were looking for friends to play the wipe with, if you're looking for help with quests, etc., my Discord's going to be a huge hub for that. I'll leave that linked as well. We have a quest help and keys channel where you can find friends to play with and do quests with people if you are playing solo or just looking for someone to play with. If you guys enjoyed as well, come by the stream, ask questions, ask me questions in my Discord. I'll be around to answer you guys. I'm going to be grinding my ass off. I'm going to be going for first Kappa NA, maybe first Kappa World. We'll see what happens. But enjoy, guys, and thank you for watching.